Hey guys, this afternoon we're going to be installing some KoubaLink's lowering links. This is Gina's KLX300 and it's pretty darn tall. So we're going to replace these factory link with the lowering link. This should give us a little bit over 2 inches of drop. KoubaLinks is the #1 manufacturer of links, I believe. And they're super high quality. These guys shipped these. I think he actually had them in the mail within a half hour of me ordering them. So it's a small company over in Idaho, so support American businesses and forget all that Chinese crap. They'll be owning us soon enough. So we're gonna grab a 17mm and get to taking these off right away. It should go pretty quick, guys. So the other thing I want you to take note of is the old school milk crate and wood combo to get it up off the ground. So you guys have been in the game a long time. There was no lifts, and you know that. This was the way to go forever. So we're sticking with the old school. So I'll get some tools to get started. On the right side of the machine, so you can see them, you're gonna wanna use a 17mm for the nuts. On the other side, if it starts spinning, you need a 14mm. So mine are not spinning so far. So we're just gonna back them out the rest of the way here. Finger tight at this point. There we go. Now we're going to reuse all of our factory hardware. So there we go. So there's probably a slide right out. I'm going to leave the nut threaded on just a little bit so I can give them a love tap with a hammer without bugging up the threads. And should pop them right out of there. All right, so just give them a little tap. You see how pretty loose they are. So I'm gonna pop the nut off them. There's our one link right there. Okay, so then to get them through the rest of the way, I'm just gonna hit it with this punch. So I don't bung up the threads. You really gotta be careful of that, guys. Take a look in there. So you can see there's some roller bearings, okay? So you don't want that bushing coming out of there. Right, you just want the bolt. So I'm going to go tap that back in the other side so we don't damage that bearing. Okay, so we got the old ones off, and there's the new one, and there's the difference in the length. So again, this is a #5, so it's going to give us about 2 inches plus. So in case I didn't really switch anything back, I'm just going to throw the stock ones back in my bag. So these could go on either side, it won't really matter. So, but you want to put a little bit of grease on these to shove them back through there. They're greased from the factory, and these are obviously new bikes, but they've already seen water and stuff. So I think it should slide in there. I may have to raise the bike a little bit in order to do this, a little more, but we'll see. Yeah, it looks like I'll have to, but it should be nothing I can't handle. Okay, so you see we got the bolts all the way through, guys. Okay. And then we're going to put our KoubaLink on. And for this, we don't want them coming loose ever. So we're going to use some of the blue thread locker. So you remember blue you can get off, it just doesn't want to come off, as opposed to red, you'll probably never get off. Just a little bit on there, a little bit on the threads. Doesn't need to be a gallon or anything. That one's tough to get on, so I'm just going to put a little in the nut directly. Just thread them on, then we'll jump on the back side with our 14mm, and get to going with it. And then we'll tighten them up, torque them to 40 pounds, and we should be good to go, guys. We'll drop it down and see how Gina likes it. Okay, so there we have a super beautiful chick sitting on a new lowered bike. And 5'8", baby?
5'7".
5'7". Okay, so we did the 2-inch drop, 2-inch plus. So it was the KX5 from KoubaLinks. So I think if you, according to her, she's the one sitting on it. If you were any shorter than that, or right in that range, you're gonna definitely want to go with that full 2 inches. So the last part of lowering the bike, you can't just lower the back and leave the front high, or you'll be like a chopper, so it'll handle horribly. So we're going to want to drop the front end as far as we can without it touching. So the fork clamp bolts here, 10 millimeter, we're going to pop these loose. And so I want a fixed feeler gauge. We want this as close as we can get without touching to the handlebar, okay? So I'm going to use these 3 metal scrapers as my feeler gauge, because that'll keep it consistent. See how we're going to use that? So probably I can get away with 2, but I'm going to use 3 just so I have a little bit of safety. So that gives you about that much thickness, okay? And again, if you have something else that's thick and consistent, but metal, I would prefer, then I think go ahead and use it. But again, you want to make sure you don't touch. So I'm going to pop these loose real quick. Just get them loose. You don't need to take them all the way out, obviously. And the weight of the bike will probably push that up there on its own. Okay, guys. So you just want to double check here that you have a consistent gap from each side. So again, this was my feeler gauge. 2 of these right in there. Okay. So same on the other side. Nice and consistent. And torque these babies. The top ones were 15 pounds. So I did that. And the bottom one's 15 too. Double check everything. And again, the importance of this was to try to keep your steering geometry somewhat equal so you don't have a wild ride. But that should be it on the Kouba lowering links, guys. So thank you very much, and stay tuned for more naughty donkey fun.